Hello, Awifians. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to you all. I hope you're well. I hope you are having a fantastic start to this new week. Easter is over, one more day of rest, and back to work. My name is Lillian Mole. I am the founder and CEO of the African Women's Economic and Entrepreneurship Forum, the place where we challenge the status quo for economic advancement of African women. Please share this live stream out with family and friends. We need to get the message loud and clear. I have an amazing friend here from Nyon, Switzerland. Hello, how are you today,
Hi,
Sharin?
Lynn. How are you doing?
Great. How's your day starting? How was your weekend?
Uh,
How was your Easter?
well, every day is a weekend now since everything is closed. So we're basically at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you? Did you have a good Easter?
Oh yes, it was a. We had a nice weather, so we had barbecue, and yeah,
Yeah.
it was. I mean, there was something good in Corona. Stay home with
Yeah.
family members and try to touch base again with those that you've not been in
Yeah. That
contact
is
with for
true.
a long time.
That is true.
But it's a very difficult situation for many people out there, many businesses and many companies.
Yeah.
And I'm really blessed to have you here with me. I wanted to come to your restaurant. We had an appointment that I will come to you. And then
Yeah.
Corona came, so we have to now do it online. But
Exactly.
once this is over, please, I'm coming to eat because I'm hungry for your food.
Yeah. Exactly. And once my restaurant opens again, because unfortunately now I have to close it down.
Yeah. So
So
this is really impacting you.
it has impacted me in a very big way because I have, it's not a family run business. So I run this with employees. And I cannot just simply take the risk with corona. I myself, because we bring it home to our own children, and it's just too much of a risk. So I have the option of doing a takeaway, but I just cannot risk all my employees,
Yeah, I
in
understand.
doing this. So unfortunately, it has affected me in a really big way. I've had to
Yeah.
shut down completely.
Before we continue, this is a quote from a Swiss minister, Alain Berset. I think you know him, and
Yeah,
he stated, "We know that this decision disrupts the daily life of our country. The situation will get worse before it gets better because now everything it was decided to shut down everything, and he said it will get worse then better again."
yeah.
How do you feel about this?
I must tell you that the Swiss government has taken all the precautions they needed to do. They've created, well, it is to used to be there anyways, but they have all kinds of support. There's a temporary chômage for the people who work for me. So they will pay 80%. There's a interest-free loan that we can take. So there's lots of support out there from the government. So I cannot complain and I cannot say that no, the government has not done enough for us or they've left us hanging. And we're part of the Gastro Swiss, and they are working very hard to make sure that we're not, we don't have to close our restaurant and things like that. So in that sense, we are very secure in the country we live in. So we're very grateful for that. I'm extremely grateful for everything that Switzerland is doing. But also there's the other aspect of it. It's a restaurant business,
Yes.
so it's not a salary, so you don't earn the same thing every month. It's a month to month thing, and there's certain months that we do really well, and there's certain months that are slow months, like vacation times and things like that. And March is one of our biggest months. March is the month when we do all the caterings. We have a lot of so it's a lot of business, and losing March is a big loss for us.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
And
for the employees, it's okay because they have a fixed salary. But for somebody
yeah,
like
yeah.
you cannot really. How do they judge this kind of help that they provide you? Do they judge it from your last endings or your last tax? How does it work?
So the employees are given they're given the temporary chômage from the day they closed. So it was 18th of March. So
Okay.
they closed down. So they said, okay, from the 18th of March, your employees can go on temporary chômage. It was a very easy application process. We just had to write everything down, give the proof that they're working for us, and send it out to them, and it came back immediately. So that was taken care of immediately. So no issues with that, and they have said you can do it until September. So they've even given us a long enough time for
Yeah.
us to recover.
Okay.
So in that sense, the whole process was very, 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 very easy.
Great.
But of course, there's exceptions and all of these other lovely things that come into play.
Exactly.
But if it was ABC, ABC works really well with their process. But the problem is that the business owner, we still have to pay all the other bills that come, the electricity bill and all of the other rent and all of these other things that come. So those things are not into consideration, and those things we have to take from a loan. And the problem arises later on in the future is that will I be able to even pay off that loan? Will I be able to make up the money
Exactly.
to pay
We'll
for
come
the
to
rest of
that.
the year?
Exactly. I mean, we're living in a very unprecedented times, and restaurants are one of the sectors that are greatly impacted by Corona. So,
Yeah.
you started talking about it already, but what are your thoughts right now, looking at your business, life, your employees, future? What are your thoughts?
So employee wise, I think they're quite good. And for me, it's in the restaurant business. What is it? Because I am myself the chef,
Yes.
and so I work with my employees very closely. We're like a family.
Yes.
So for me, my first thing is to make sure that my employees are good. That they're safe and they're not falling on the ground, because now after 1 month I can decide to fire them, but then where do they go? Because in this market you're not going to be able to get a job. So I'm trying to look for ways. So there's stresses from all around, but at the same time there's a little positive that I get to finally stay home for a very long time.
Yeah.
So discover my children, so all of that. There's always that worry in the back of my head, but you know it's bad for everybody.
Yeah.
So so you cannot just keep lingering at that, and when it comes it'll come. And for now I'm just grateful that I have my kids, I have a home, and my husband has his job, so we're still good to go. But I
Yeah.
think if I was solely dependent on my restaurant and on a salary on my restaurant, it would be very, very difficult. It would be
I can imagine.
extremely difficult.
I can imagine. You just
So,
said, it's not a straight process. This is not A, B, and C. Even if it
yeah,
was A, B,
exactly.
and C, it will still hit many people. So sometimes it
Yeah,
works for sometimes it doesn't.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's
So
I think we will not feel the impact yet. I think once everybody goes back, that's when you will start seeing that restaurants are closing down or things are not working out. That's when you will see the true impact of the economic effect. At
exactly.
this point, even I cannot tell you. I mean, I don't know in 2 months when I go back if I'll be able to keep my restaurant open. And that is a constant worry that I have in the back of my head. Is that if I cannot make up for March, April, May, and then June is actually a different kind of season. It's a catering season for school sets, for all of these other occasions, end of school year. They have lots of parties, lots of events going on.
Yeah.
And I participate in the Fête de la Musique. I
Yeah.
participate in my commune's fete and all of those, and those are all money that comes in that makes up for the loss of June, July, and none of those are going to happen this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for me, my effect is going to go all the way till June, July, and then some more. So I myself don't know what will happen if I will be able to make this restaurant survive, and it will
Okay.
be very, very sad if I cannot do that.
Yeah.
So,
But
but that's the reality of it.
you're still in a fortunate situation that you have this option, you have the help from the government, and your husband has a job. It's still the context is completely different.
Yeah,
Why
exactly.
why did you decide to get into restaurant business? Why did you decide to open a restaurant instead of getting a normal corporate job? You are an international woman, you've been like everywhere, Africa, Europe, and Mama was like, whoa.
Yeah.
How did you come to this idea of
So
restaurant?
It was because of all my traveling. So, as I told you, I've lived in Sierra Leone. I spent my childhood there. And then I was in Uganda. Then I was in Bangladesh again for a little bit. And then I went to Miami. I finished my high school there and my university. And I actually studied computer science over there.
Okay.
And then I got married in New York and actually was working in my field in computer science. And then I had my daughter,
Okay.
and my daughter was born with a blood disorder, and I had to actually quit my job because of that. And then I
How is
quit
she doing now?
my.
How's your daughter now?
Oh, they're doing excellent.
Okay.
So yeah, she's 17 now,
Okay.
so going to school over here. So everything is it's okay, but I thought that I needed to be home with her. It was more important for me to be home with my kids. And computer science is such a field that you can't really go back in that sense. It's a very difficult field to actually go back. The technology moves so fast that if I actually wanted to go back, I'd have to go back to school, study, and all of that. And then we made the move to Switzerland. And as most people who like to cook, cooking has been my passion.
Yeah.
And also, fortunately, because I have been able to live in so many different countries, I was able to experience a lot of different foods, a lot of different cultures, which also gave me, I think, a little bit of an upper hand, because I had in Miami, it's mostly Cuban. You get a lot of Cuban food, Jamaican food, so a lot of the island culture comes in there. And then you go to New York, which is like a melting pot of everything you can.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then I moved to Switzerland, which was 16 years ago, and there was really no catering, no takeaways back then. Nowadays, there's so much fabulous food. There's so much of it now. But 16 years ago, there really was not. When I was pregnant with my son, I used to crave pasta, and you couldn't get a pasta takeaway. We had to go there with our container, order the food. The guy would make the food and then put it into our container and then would bring that home.
Yeah.
And it just didn't exist. And it was like, oh, wait a minute, I can't get anything I want to eat. I can't get anything I want to eat at all. So that's where the concept came from that, why don't I try to, do something where, so my restaurant is not really a restaurant where it's a set menu every day. Every day I change the menu. And so this way you get to try a whole lot of different things, and you're not stuck with, because normally when we go to a restaurant, we end up eating just one thing, and we keep ordering the same thing. So
Yes.
I
Yes.
change the menu. So this way, when somebody comes in, they can actually have an opportunity to try out something new.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
And
that's the whole concept behind it.
great. And people should understand if they're watching this live stream, wherever you are, Switzerland is a very small country and everything here takes time. It's
Yeah,
not like here in the
exactly.
UK where you have all this variety of food, street food, and what. Now it's beginning to happen. I see trucks,
Yeah,
they're going around, even in the countryside, to deliver
yeah,
pizza or to make pizza. And I'm like, what is going on?
exactly.
Evolution.
And now you get Thai food, Vietnamese food. You have a nice variety of food now, which we didn't have before. Mio was empty before. It really didn't have anything. It had a few pizzerias, and that was it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now even in our restaurant, we have a Lebanese place near us. So it's really fantastic. Nice, proper burger places.
Yes. Yeah.
So you get a good variety of food. And I love to cook, but I love to eat too. And it's really excellent to see that. It's excellent to see this whole country becoming a nice melting pot too.
Exactly. And now people are trying new things. It's not like, as I said, in those days, or even still now, we were just used to agno, the lamb
Yeah,
fillet, with
yeah, exactly.
vegetables, the zucchini, and
Yeah,
all. Now, even in restaurants, there is a huge
yeah,
difference. I think they
yeah,
do things
exactly.
differently. They try to
Yeah,
bring in other culture. If you go to
exactly.
Intercontinental, the hotel where they have their brunch, I love going there for brunches, and they bring all these kind of varieties that in
Yeah,
Switzerland you will not. Seafood was something far
yeah,
fetched. You have to be
Yeah,
careful.
it was just the filet de perche.
Exactly. And now
Yeah,
we have all of this. You walk down the street, you smell this, you smell that, and I'm thinking,
yeah.
"Wow, this is paradise."
Yeah, exactly, exactly. It's really interesting because you'll see that even in Neo now we have two grocery stores, Indian grocery stores, one Thai grocery store, So there is more of a demand for it and therefore it's coming in and it's lovely. It's wonderful to see that.
Yeah,
So it's nice. It's nice, you know, even for me it's nice and people come into my restaurant too and they like to discover, they like to see, they sometimes a lot of times our customers will come in and go, you choose something for me, what's good today.
yeah.
And it's nice to have that, nice to have that people are also happy about it.
Exactly. And now, what we did not have, when in Nyon, for example, when you go to the markets, like I think it's on Saturdays, where you have the
Yeah,
market,
yeah, Saturdays.
and you have all these different kinds of variety. You have the grilled
Yeah,
chicken standing there.
yeah,
You have the Asian stand. Last time we went there, they
exactly.
had like a beignet, a fried beignet, and I was
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
"Hey, in Switzerland,
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
amazing."
churros, you know. Yeah.
So how do you survive with a business restaurant? Because now we have all this variety, means we have choices, we have the
Yeah,
competition is getting more and more difficult.
yeah.
So how do you survive?
Competition is actually good. Competition is actually good because when you have variety, you have more people coming in.
Okay.
Now people are not just going to Geneva, people are actually coming into Neo to eat. And we have customers who come in from Geneva to eat. And I'm not expecting someone to come and eat at my restaurant every day. That's absurd. I'm not going to go to a burger place every
No.
single day of my life to go eat. I'll eat there one day and then I'll look at the restaurant next door and I'll say, hey, I'll come here again.
Mhm.
So the more variety you have, the more business you have, the more people will come in. So it's not that's not competition.
Okay.
I have a Chinese restaurant who's opening up next to me. It's good for me because somebody who will come to the Chinese restaurant will see my restaurant and say, "Hey, I don't know this place,"
Yeah. Yeah.
and then will come the next time to try out my place.
Exactly.
So competition is never a bad thing. It's
And it's very different. The food are
yeah.
very different. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. If somebody is now making something exactly like me, that's a different thing. But that would become competition, and that's not healthy. It's not healthy for me or the other guy.
Mm.
And if somebody comes in and does that, I think that would be a silly thing to do.
Mm.
That hey, I'm going to open up something just like you, or have two burger joints in the same place, or two Chinese restaurants, one next to another. It doesn't make sense.
But
And
in
I hope
Geneva,
people
you
will
see
not.
that. In Geneva, you see that two Chinese restaurant. There's Chinese, Italian, Chinese. You see
Yeah,
that in Geneva.
that is not good business. That is not good business for the guy who's starting the business and for the guy who already has the business. So people should be a little bit aware of that or something. The commune should do something like that and put some restrictions on it and say, hey, there's already a Chinese restaurant. We will not allow another business to come in because both of you will fail.
But I suspect it's from the same family. I could be wrong because this doesn't make
Yeah.
sense. I
Yeah,
suspect it's
exactly.
the
Exactly.
same
It could be
family.
Thai and Chinese, which are very different foods,
Yeah,
or sushi and Chinese. So it could
yeah,
be two different kinds because different kinds. But I don't think I think if something like that happens, the commune should intervene and say that you have to bring in a little bit of variety. You cannot open two of the same places. So something like that. But I like kebab places. Kebab places are there in every line. But kebab is, I think, something that everybody goes for. There's enough of a
yeah.
crowd who
Clientele.
go for
Yeah,
kebab. So I think two or three. But I think that's something that the commune should really restrict and say, okay, this is our population. And I think one or two of this is more than enough. You cannot have 10 kebab places. So I know, of course, you can say, hey, it's my right to open whatever I want to open, but it's not good. Then
exactly.
both of them close. Then what's the point of having something like that?
Exactly.
Where,
So, as a
where
female
both of them.
entrepreneur and a restaurant owner, how do you make your voice heard in? It's such a male dominant business. How do you make
Yeah,
your voice heard?
I've not had such a tough time here. I've gotten my license from here, so I went and did the exam and all of that. It's not been so difficult. It's just been sometimes where my chef in the back, I'll have someone come and say, "Oh, is that your husband working in the back?" Or "I'd like to talk to your husband." And then I say,
Yeah.
"No, no, no, it's my business." And they'll be like, "Oh, it's your business," and but it moves on. It's not somebody's angry about it or anything like that. But they do demand the husband be somewhere present, and you can take it either positively and say, "Hey, wait, it's my business," or you can take it negatively and start a big fight with them.
Yeah.
it's it's the way it is. But a lot of people, I've had a lot of people go, "Is that your husband in the back?" and expecting him to be the chef, and I'm like, "No, no, no, he's not
The,
he's
the,
not part of
menta-
the business."
the mentality hasn't changed that much. They still think they should be.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It'll take some time still. It was interesting because I was coming back from Abu Dhabi and I
Yeah.
wanted to get a temporary a transit visa. So I was going through, and the lady there was like, "What do you do?" And I'm like, "I own a business." Like, "Oh, you work in a restaurant?" "No, I own a restaurant." "You work in a restaurant?" I'm like, "No, no, no, I own the restaurant." And she's like, "You work at the restaurant?" I'm like, "No, I own the restaurant." And she's like, "Oh." I was just, but I just found it funny, and there was another woman asking me that. So it's
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it'll change. I see lots of fantastic women now running businesses around, even in Neo. They've opened up lots of restaurants, little coffee shops. So it's changing. The concept is changing. The ideas are changing.
Yeah, it's going to take time. It's changing. That's true. And I'm happy you brought that example. I also have another example to share with you. In Geneva, I went to the restaurant with my kids. They are mixed race, so they
Yeah,
expect that. So the guy was, he said, "For how many?" And I said, "3." And then he came back and said, "Is your husband joining?" And I said to him, "We are 3."
yeah,
He came back with the business and he still came with and he said, "Is your husband joining?" I said, "Sir, my husband passed away." And then he had this shock and he said, "Also, je suis vraiment, vraiment, vraiment navré, mais je voulais juste." And I'm like, "What the heck? You have to explain yourself." I should have said
yeah.
yes. Maybe that would have ended the discussion.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. No, it's getting there, but it's still we still have to fight a little bit more. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
we still have a little bit of fight left in us to
It's
get
just
there.
like they think you cannot afford, to take yourself to a very expensive restaurant. Somebody has to,
Yeah,
you have to have a husband to do that. You
yeah,
know,
of course, of
yeah,
course.
yeah,
Yeah, but it's that's how society has been built. But gradually, I think it'll have to change. It'll have to eventually change. There's no other way out of it. But I've not encountered anyone being mean about it.
no, no.
So
It's just the
yeah,
normal thinking. It's just something which is
yeah,
just a routine, and we do not even.
exactly.
I don't think they take it personal. It's just,
No,
it's
no,
just been. I don't know how can I explain. It's just something
yeah,
you expect to see somebody in such a
yeah,
restaurant. You just
yeah,
expect to see a spouse, a couple,
yeah,
and
exactly.
kids,
Yeah.
and they are
But I
thinking,
think those are all inbuilt things. It's interesting also because I'm of course a Bangladeshi Indian origin.
yeah,
People always think that I'm the
yes,
struggling immigrant. And I've
yes,
come here and I've sold everything, and it's me and my husband working in the restaurant. And then when I tell them my backstory that I've studied in the U.S. and I'm now here and I've opened up this thing, it takes a little bit of time. So you have the stereotypes
yes,
and have to go beyond the stereotype, but uh, we still have to be patient, and we still have to explain it. Instead of getting angry, I think
no, 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 no. I think
we have to explain it to people that yes, it is. The common thing is that it's the struggling immigrant that comes in here, and they're running this business to run. It is the common thing. So
yeah,
I am actually the exception,
yeah.
but you have to not get angry when they tell you.
Oh, definitely not. I feel sorry for them because if you could see this guy's face, he was full of
Yeah,
sorrow. It's like
yeah, exactly.
he did not know how to get out of it.
Exactly, exactly. Well, he'll not make that mistake again. So,
Yeah, Poor guy.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It takes time. It takes time, but it's getting there. At least he's learned now, and he will tell his other friends, and they will not make that mistake either.
I think. And they know us coming. When they see one coming, they know, okay, yeah, these people are here now again.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And if I've told you once that I'm here by myself, then I'm here by myself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Apart from your restaurant business and apart from all your knowledge about IT and traveling with other culture, you have such a huge baggage and you have such a big heart sharing with other people. You help lots of refugees. Please tell us how
Yeah.
you came about this idea of organizing monthly dinner with neighbors so refugees do not feel lonely.
So what happened was that here in Klan, we had about where I live in my commune, we had about 50 young men, refugees who had come in, and they were kept in the bunkers.
Yeah.
And I knew a couple of friends who were helping them out in whichever way they could, getting them to find, some way to help, getting them to, become part of the commune and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And these are kids that have gone through so much hell, and they're scared of where they are. And so then, actually, it was my husband that came up with the idea and said that, hey, why don't we do this dinner for the refugees where we actually invite the people in our commune and they eat with the refugees, not feed them, like a soup kitchen, but actually sit down with them, eat with them, and understand who they are. And it was a great thing because then we would do this monthly thing, and I would cook all the food, and then we'd invite all our people from the commune, and they would come in and sit with them and get to know them. And all of a sudden, you saw these refugees who were scared kids and actually looking down on their phone, because you'll see most of them are always looking down on their phone and they don't make eye contact. And you think, oh, they're on their phone all day and blah blah blah, but they're actually scared.
Yeah.
This place is brand new for them. They don't know anybody, so they're scared to look up. They actually look down because they're scared to look up. And now that they started knowing people. People invited them over to their houses, to feed them something or to teach them lessons, and that disconnect, it broke that barrier and people came together. So it was really wonderful. It was really successful. And then, of course, the refugees got transferred to a better place. So then I continued this in Nyon with the Westlake Church.
Yes.
And there was a refugee place there too. And now they've all been moved around too. But now what we try to do is occasionally invite them over with their families and everybody and do this dinner. So not every month anymore, but more on special occasions. So like it was Easter, we would have done something for Easter for them, but now we can't. For Christmas, Easter, so summer before the holidays come. So we try to do an organization like that and invite them over, and we all share food together. So I try to do that, and then also on Saturdays, I cook food, and I have this group come in from Lausanne.
Okay.
And they come in and they take the food and they go and give it to the sans-abri. And so it's not the soup kitchen, it's actually the people who are on the streets.
Oh.
And they go around and they give food to everybody. And I do this every Saturday. And unfortunately, now that I've closed down, I'm not doing it for now. But once the restaurant opens, I'll continue to do that.
So is it feeding the homeless people in Lausanne?
Yeah, feeding the homeless people. Yeah, it's homeless people.
It's not what you would suspect that exists in Switzerland. No, that to be talking about homeless people, but yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They exist, and they exist in a big form. There's quite a few people who are homeless, and so there's plenty of opportunity to go out there and do soup kitchens. Anybody can do it.
Yeah.
So it's something very, very simple to do.
And we should be very honest, we see Switzerland as this rich country, which is definitely rich, but there is also lots of hidden poverty that we're not.
Oh my God, there is a lot.
Yeah, and no matter how much support you get from the government, it's not that huge, and it's an expensive extremely expensive place, but there is lots of hidden poverty, which, I
Yeah.
mean, we should start talking about it.
Yeah, exactly. No, there is, and once you start going into it a little bit deeper, it's very easy to find. It's very easy to find, and it's also very easy to give back. You know, a lot of people feel like, oh, we can't do anything, but it's very easy to find it. You can just go and say sans abri in Switzerland, you know, or there's lots of different sites that are people who are helping out, who are looking for volunteers always, you know. So it's readily available. You just have to find one person. And I was fortunate because it went from the refugee dinners to meeting very fantastic people,
Mm.
you know, who do a lot. And then from there, I was able to reach out a little bit too and do my part, you know.
Mm.
But I do nothing compared to what these other guys are doing. You know, I just cook some food and I just give it to somebody else to give. You know, but
Yeah, but that's
you know,
already a huge contribution.
yeah. But some of these people are just really amazing, really, really amazing what they do. You know, so it's it's a lot of good out there. There's a lot of good out there.
Yeah, and I hope that this situation with the corona will see more and more of that. We're already seeing it
Yeah,
right now. It wasn't, I mean, it's
yeah,
not that common to see people stand on their balcony and talk to others
yeah.
or play music.
Exactly,
So this is a
exactly, exactly. No, Corona's it has its bad sides, but I think it also has, you know, it's given me a chance because ever since I opened up my restaurant 6 years ago,
yes.
I have not been home, and it gave me a chance to come back home and to spend some time with my kids. My daughter is now 17, son is 13, so they're busy with their lives, you know. So
Yeah,
it's just great to actually have some time with them, you know, and
yeah,
just enjoy each other a little bit, you know, and not have to like look at the time constantly and say, oh, I have to go and do this, oh, I have to go and get that done, you know.
yeah.
Even vacations are stressful, you know, because when you're on a
Exactly.
vacation, you're not relaxing. We have to go eat now, we have to go swim now, we have to go dance now, you know. So
You have to do
even
all those
vacations are
things
not.
that you could not
I
do
know.
during vacation. Then it's not
Yeah,
vacation
exactly.
anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Like I paid money for this. I want the best out of it, you know. But now at least, you know, we're stuck at home, nowhere to go. Kids can't run away. Kids can't go to friends, you know. And it's great. It's really, you know, I'm enjoying that aspect of it a lot, you know.
Yeah,
So it's,
absolutely.
yeah.
So, how do you intend to, with all that you've spent quality time with your kids? And I think at one point you were like, time to go
Yeah.
back to work, time to get out here. Now you are now appreciating more and more the
Yeah.
time that you spent with your employees and your. I think you're really missing them, and you really want to get them back to work.
Yeah. Exactly.
And you're
Exactly.
doing your best to really keep them. So how are you going to pivot your business once things start?
So now we've actually thought I'm gonna actually start doing some grills in the restaurant. So before it was just mostly cooked food, but I'm going to invest in some grills to have some more of kebabs from our style, you know, some more grilled stuff, grilled meats and things like that with the summer coming also.
Mhm.
And I think we need to also increase our advertising. So I'm just looking for some marketing people, you know, just to get out much more because I think that now when we start, I'll have to start with a bigger margin. Otherwise, it's going to be very tough for us to keep alive. So now we're figuring out, you know, how to increase our visibility a little bit more, you know, to have
Yes,
people come back. And
yes,
the other problem is that we don't know economically, nobody's doing well. So we don't know how much people are going to be willing to spend once we go back, you know.
yes.
So right now we are, you know, really worried, really thinking about all the different aspects of it, and you know, but I think marketing is going to be the best thing for us to do. You know, just get more of the word out, more of the people to, you know, have people to come in and things like that. You know, maybe do some sort of a couponing program or something like that. You know,
Mhm. And
so.
Yeah, how does collaboration come into this? Will you be collaborating with other restaurants? For example, in a restaurant, you can have a day where you have your specialty, and in your restaurant, I mean, does that change? Would that change something for your business? Is that something you thought of?
I don't know what that would do, because people, when they come into the restaurant, they want that particular kind of food.
Yes, yes,
So I don't really see them ordering something else
yes,
besides that food. We're like, hey, I can just go somewhere else for that food. Why do I need to come to you? I've come to you for your food.
yes, yes.
So so those kind of things. But what I would like to do is myself go out. So like I had already started actually doing some cooking courses, which
Yeah.
all got canceled because of Corona. So I had two cooking courses out, and so I will start doing that again, so that I can just bring in a little bit of my customers and give them an opportunity to learn some new things, and also get to meet them a little bit, because when you do a cooking course, you get to have a personal connection with your customers, in a very intimate kind of a way. So, I was thinking of doing more of that, and more, approaching them a little bit more than just, here, you've come to eat, here's your food, now go home, kind of a thing,
Yeah, yeah.
So I think those kind of things would be a bit more important at this point, is actually asking our customers for help,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so
So
having them having
changes are on the way. What one major change will you do? You will go out more to your clients. You have this cooking course, but
yeah, and I have the kebabs coming in, the grills.
exactly, exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. That's a
yeah. So
huge
those
that's
are
a huge change to have
Yeah,
kebab
but
in
I
your.
have a lot of time in my hand now, so I can work on other things, like creating nice menus and things like that. So
So when are you going to go live on your page to show us on, for example, I will want to cook one of your menus next week. Can't you go live and show me what I need to buy, how I need to do it to get
you
it
can
done?
you can actually go to my website right now, and I have
Okay.
recipes posted up.
Ah,
So if
okay.
you
Do
go
that.
if you go on my menu on top, you'll see that there's a recipe section,
So here,
and I've posted up a lot of recipes there.
okay.
So if you go to falak.com, you'll see that there's a little recipe section there.
Okay.
And so I have lots of recipes, very simple things, things that are just in your kitchen. So I'm not doing you a, very fancy, something that you don't have. It's stuff that you have in your kitchen, and you can just cook it. It takes 5 to 10 minutes to cook. So I'm posting up a lot of those recipes right now, since I have the time,
Mhm.
and I'm trying to post up one almost every week. Also on my Instagram page and my Facebook page, I post up other simpler things like salads. Here's a salad. This is what you need. Or, here's a fish and this is what you need. So I'm posting up mini recipes on Facebook itself too. So
Mhm.
I'm doing that constantly, and I'm trying to work on some videos, some cooking videos also. So, but that one needs the proper lighting and all of those things, So it's a bit more complicated. Now you can't just go out and buy some things. So
Mhm.
it's yeah. So I cannot just go buy some lighting equipment. So it's proving a bit more tougher than I was thinking it would be. But I'd like to do some cooking videos. So those are other things, So just to keep the customers connected,
Yeah.
And there's so many easy things you can make at home that just literally take 10, 15 minutes to do.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Is delivery going to be part of your new something to implement?
Delivery has always been a part of it. We've always done delivery. So
Oh,
we had the takeaway side, and we also did delivery. So it's very easy. If you go on the website, it's very easy to order online.
but I live
And the food,
a little bit far from you, from New. I'm
yeah,
like, oh, I said, you deliver up here?
we don't deliver up to RZA, but we go, yeah, it's a bit far, because the problem is that the delivery guy will go to RZA. By the time he comes down, it's 40 minutes. So
Yes.
that gets very expensive for us to do.
Yeah.
But if you have like 3 or 4 people who can order at the same time, of course we can do that. We
Okay.
can say, okay, then we'll go and do one major, and we've done that before too. We've said we've had people, back in me, who 3 or 4 families who've ordered together, and we've gone delivered to them at the
Okay.
same time.
Okay.
But for just one person, it's
Yeah,
just
but you have a
really,
budget then. I mean, it could be one family we expecting guests, or one family having a birthday party. Do you have a budget
yeah. Yeah,
for
we have the
limit?
catering side. So it's if you order 300 Swiss francs, the delivery is free.
Okay.
And Geneva it's 25 Swiss francs. So it's not much. It's just enough for me to pay my delivery guy.
Okay.
You know,
Okay. So even
so 300 Swiss francs is the minimum order.
okay, so even we're in Arcs here for 300 Swiss francs, you will come up. So I'll call my neighbors.
Yeah,
Come on, guys. We
yeah,
need.
exactly. Exactly. I mean, that's never, there's always exceptions to the rule. That's why you're in this business. You always make exceptions. If
Yeah,
you're in your square box, then what's the point of having a business?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So we always make exceptions. We always make changes. So sometimes we have to tell our customers, it's only one time. We're not gonna do this again for you. Kind of a thing. So we have had moments like that. But we try to make the customer feel at home. That they're coming. That we're not just a impersonal restaurant, but we are actually a family. So my chefs will always come out and wave at the customers, and know all of us personally. And
Yeah,
that's the whole point of having something like this. It's more family run, and it's Falak family run.
great.
So that's
That's a
why I always also say we. You see, I'll naturally always say we, because it's really a we thing. It's not just an I thing.
yeah.
It's all of us working together.
Great, great. Gillian says, "Good morning, powerful ladies." I think Gillian is in Berlin, if I'm not wrong. Hi, Gillian. And we have Joy. She is it in Basel? Can't remember anymore. Hi,
Okay.
Joy. So yeah, we have all these ladies, supporting this platform, and it's
Yeah.
good to know that there is a cut, because then I will, once this is over, I will need some of your food, because
Yeah. Exactly.
I have some ideas popping out of my head.
Yeah, exactly. No, it'll be great. It was lovely to meet you. So it was really wonderful. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk a little bit about my restaurant also. You know, and I
It's
hope everybody's doing well during this time.
exactly, and this community need to. I mean, they need people like you, examples like you, because food is a big thing for Africans.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, I know that. Yeah,
you know
it
that,
always it always
right?
revolves. Yeah, because even in Sierra Leone, when they used to cook, we used to always be around. They used to make. I don't know too much about Cameroonian food, but we used to make plasas, and we used to have the matarodo. Matarodo, that's my husband in the back. They used to have the matarodo, where they used to mash up the bell peppers,
Yeah,
the peppers for the pepe soup and things like that. So we were always a part of it. I used to go to my neighbor's house and peel the cassava. We used to
yes.
break the cassava, so we used to do that and make
Oh
roasted
my
cassava.
God, it's only
Yeah,
10 o'clock. I'm hungry.
I know, but I make jollof rice, and I make
Okay,
the pepper soup also. So I make some of those at home. I make it in my restaurant too. I make it
really?
with the Scotch bonnet pepper and the peanuts too. So I make that. I make that in the restaurant, and it goes really well. People love it.
Come on.
So
I found
yes, I bring a little bit of that too, because it was hey, she's from Nigeria. I lived in Nigeria too, so yeah. But it was,
oh, okay. Now I found
yeah.
home.
I used to also, when you braid the hair, the
Yes,
time it was to take off the hair. So with my friend in the neighborhood, we used to all sit down together and take off the hair together, and so we used to do all of that. It was
oh my
wonderful, really. Yeah, I had a wonderful childhood in Sierra Leone, and always want to go back. I hope I can go back one day.
yeah.
Take my children there.
This is the beauty
So
of traveling, all these memories that you have, the light, your face just shines when you talk about all these
yeah,
the cultures that have
yeah,
been present in your life, and the
yeah.
richness that it brings to you as a person, but
Oh,
also
honestly,
to
honestly, I'm so lucky. I'm so fortunate.
Yeah,
really, really fortunate to have had so many different cultures and to be able to relate to the cultures. And I lived long enough, you know. I went to Sierra Leone when I was 3.
yeah,
So I grew up in Sierra Leone. That was my country. You know, I used to call, people used to ask me where you're from. I used to say Sierra Leone. It wasn't, I didn't say I was from Bangladesh. I used to say I'm from Sierra Leone. That was where I was from.
yeah,
And I was always welcome with open hearts. That's also the greatest thing that I have taken from all of this is wherever I have gone, I've always been welcomed with very open hearts. So it's been always fantastic for me. So I'm very fortunate in that sense.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. Yeah,
grateful for everything I have.
yeah, and that brings you joy in your life, and you spread it so well. So yeah, thank you so much, and
Yeah,
thank you for sharing your light. And please don't give up. We know restaurant business is hard work, and
yes.
we
Please
claim.
pray for me, everybody. Please pray for us and come and eat.
Please, let's go order from her. Let's go order
Yeah,
from her. When work
exactly,
when
exactly.
work is back, I have to call my colleagues that we do a 1 day per week to have your food because we have
Oh, that'd be so fantastic.
yeah, we have to really support here.
Yeah,
So
that'd be really fantastic.
don't worry, you'll see, you'll see.
Yeah,
I'll be on there. My orders are coming.
great,
Yeah, about that.
great.
That's
Yeah,
for sure. So now I know you do pepper soup. I am lucky.
yeah, exactly.
I'm lucky.
Exactly.
So if you
Yeah,
had one advice to give to restaurant owners, what would that be? Because this is a tough job.
yeah. Are you talking about people who already own the restaurant or people who want to get into this
Maybe
business?
both. Those who are thinking of it, because we see restaurants opening every day. What advice would you
Yeah.
give them? And those who already have, what advice would you give to them?
So people who already are looking into the restaurant, it's a tough business. It's a tough business. It'll take everything out of you. It's a restaurant is like a needy baby. It just wants, and you will love him for it. So you will give, and you will go to sleep exhausted, but you will love it. But it is not an easy business. I would not recommend people to go in it on their own.
Mm.
It is really difficult to do it on your own. Have a partner, have somebody else, because to do every aspect of it is, and there's so much paperwork that you have to do. Majority of my time goes into doing paperwork.
Really?
There's so much paperwork to do. So, um, it's just you have to write down all the hygiene things, all the employee things. Everything has to be written down, handwritten down. So it's a lot of, yeah, you're looking perplexed, but yeah, more than
Yeah,
the
I'm
cooking part of it, I do more of the paperwork than I do cooking. So I
sure.
would
Because it's Switzerland that requires this, or it's just
I think overall in the restaurant business, because it's all the hygiene things and all of these things that you have to do. Switzerland is particularly strict, but oh, so much paperwork. So it's exhausting, and that was the part that I was not expecting. I was like, I just want to cook. I want to go buy lovely vegetables and cook my lovely food, and people will come and eat it. And unfortunately, that's a very small part of it.
ah,
You have to advertise, you have to go out, you have to be constantly aware of where you are, and it's very difficult if you're doing it on your own. It's very, very difficult because then also people get tired, they want something new. So
mhm.
you have to also then develop new dishes, but um, you can't be everywhere at the same time.
Yeah,
So if there is one advice, I'd advise people to make sure that they have somebody there to help them, and it's somebody that they like because they'll be spending a lot of time with them.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
For me,
so
honestly, looking from outside, we can do the math. Today, food is expensive in Switzerland. That's
yeah,
definitely for sure. But now we see the prices of menu, they keep going down and down and down.
yeah,
For was like Chinese or Indonesian or whatever, the
Yeah.
price is going down and down. And when we do the math, I'm asking myself, is this really beneficial? I mean, for me as a client, okay, I want to pay less.
Yeah.
I want
Yeah.
good, but
Yeah.
at that price, is it really possible? It's not only the price of the food, you have other charges. You have to
No,
pay employees,
the employees are so
rent,
expensive. It is, yeah,
rent.
social charges are very expensive.
Yeah, for commercial rental properties, you have to pay like
Yeah.
6 months in advance. You have
Yeah.
your charges that you have to pay. Is it
Yeah.
really, really a
No,
lucrative
sometimes
business?
I see it too. I see where people are doing with such low prices, and I kind of find it unfair because they should not have such low prices, because then it becomes, I think a lot of the businesses are personal owned businesses, and they're just happy to get a salary, and they will bring their prices so low so they can just be enough to make a salary for them, and then they have that fear of customers not coming, but that takes away from quality. That'll take away, the biggest thing will be quality. Then you start moving into frozen foods, you start bringing things from outside. So bringing prices so low is, it's not a healthy thing. I personally don't agree with that. It's not. I have people asking me like, "Hey, bring your prices down a little bit," but I'm like, I'm cooking chicken, I'm making vegetables, I'm making rice. Everything takes time. Why should it be cheaper than that? It's not cheaper when you eat at home. So
Yeah.
why should it be cheaper than that? It cannot be the same price that you eat at home.
And also, I brought this idea up because I learned a lesson from Michael Hyatt, who said, giving it all away at a cheap price or at a reduced price is bad for your business.
Yeah, of course
And
it is.
what you're saying now, it's really in alignment with that. And this message should really land home in Africa. If
Yeah,
you go to a market, it's like,
yeah,
okay, people just give me, okay, come on, get it for this price. Oh, okay, let's
yeah,
reduce. So they bring down the price because they just want to get the money, and then tomorrow is another
yeah,
day. So
yeah, exactly.
if you were to coach people to start opening their good restaurants or having a business, what do
Yeah.
you have to say about this price
So
reduction?
pricing, there is a standard for it. Pricing is always 30%,
Aha.
you know. So there is a standard for it, or it is one portion should be the price of a kilo of meat. So if you're serving meat, your portion price should be the kilo of meat,
Okay.
you know. And so that's a very basic, simple pricing structure. But of
Okay.
course, now if you're making it very complicated, if it's a complicated dish, even onions are expensive here.
Yeah.
I have vegan food and I have meat too, and people always ask me, why is your vegan food the same price as the meat? I'm like, I'm getting fresh vegetables, and fresh vegetables, you buy a kilo of cauliflower, you cut it down, you're left with the florets, half of it is gone, you know. So you're not counting that. You peel the potato, half of it is gone, so
But
vegetables are quite expensive.
would your prices be different if you were in a different? Of course, the prices will be different if you're in France, but it will still
Yeah.
remain high. Or if you were in Africa, it will still remain high because of your expertise or what? What
Yeah, no, it'll remain high because of the quality that I'm bringing in.
Okay.
It's quality takes time because I have to go out and I have to personally get the vegetables, or I have to get a proper producer to bring in the vegetables. I'm not using anything frozen. I go out and I see what's in the market. All of that takes time. My research is time. It takes me 2-3 hours to go and research what is out there in the market, what I want to give my customers next. And then I have to go and get it from a good quality source. So it's money, it's time, all of that is, it should be priced.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a service. If you're getting a service for doing whatever you're doing, I should also get the price for that too. So why should you not count your time that you are taking to go and do this? You
Yes, but
know,
we women, we struggle with this. Men have,
yeah,
they find it easier to price, they have no
yeah,
problem
yeah,
with that. But we women,
yeah.
we struggle. What do you think about that?
I think you should not. I think you should go ahead, and when people ask you for discounts, you should just say no. It's okay if you are giving that kind of a quality. Again, it's the same. Is the thing is that I'm giving you the quality, then you have to pay the price for it. I'm not giving you something for free. I have to make a living. I want to do this for, to be able to enjoy it, to be able to go on to the next phase. If I
Mm,
have to wake up every morning and not have to still worry about money, then why am I in this business?
mm, 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 mm.
I will, you're doing a business because you want to live well. And if I do this business and I'm not living well and I'm struggling to still buy my kids clothes, then what's the point of doing this? So you cannot put your price so low that
Mhm.
you struggle like that. And if you bring in the quality, people will come.
Yeah.
you know People understand the difference nowadays. Everybody cooks at home. It's no longer that TV dinner thing where you put it in the microwave and you bring it out. Everybody cooks, and everybody knows quality. Everybody, I can guarantee you that. I have customers that come into my restaurant and will say that we eat your food and it's the only food that supports us. It's la sol nourriture qui nous supporte bien, you know, because my spices are fresh. I blend them. It all takes a little bit of time. It takes more time than buying the powdered spices, you
Yes.
know.
Yes.
It, of course, takes time. It takes longer to fry up the onions. Everything takes a bit longer. And I price it according to that. I don't have a very high price, but I'm
Mhm,
also not going to not value the time that I'm putting into it.
mhm,
And people appreciate that when you say that you have value, you have put that much effort into it. People actually appreciate it and will come.
mhm,
And
mhm.
the people who are not happy about it will and want to compare you to the kebab place, they will complain anyways. They'll complain regardless of what you give them.
Exactly.
They're not your customers. They're not your customers. Your customers are the people who understand you, who appreciate you, and your focus should be on retaining them and not focusing on the people who've left you a bad comment or are unhappy with the price that they have made. One of our biggest things is, of course, watching reviews and reviews from customers. Unfortunately, if you go on TripAdvisor, I've always been either the first or the second person on TripAdvisor, second restaurant on TripAdvisor.
Wow.
And so I've always maintained a high quality because of that. But people understand it. People see it. As soon as the quality goes down, people can immediately, uh, you know, feel it, and they move away from it.
Mhm.
So, if I have that advice, make less, but make the best. You
Yeah.
know, make less. Don't make a menu that is so big that you have to put everything in the fridge and you have to, feed people stale food. You know, make less, make what you make it the best.
Mhm, mhm,
You
mhm.
know, and people will appreciate that. You'll see a lot of my reviews say that it's a small menu, but the quality is excellent. And that's what I go for. It's small, simple menu, but whatever I give you will be the best quality.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
So don't be so scared. Do what you want, follow your passion. Unfortunately, what happens in this restaurant business is that you get so busy with everything that you forget what you're there for.
Yeah.
Most of us go in there because we're passionate about doing what we love to do, you know, and you get into this pressure that, oh, maybe I need to make this, maybe I need to cook this also, maybe I need to add another soup, I need to add another salad. And then you're no longer passionate, you're just stressed out, and you're making 10,000 things and none of it is good,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because maybe you want to cover cost.
Yeah, exactly. So, but uh, it never works. You lose customers so easily. You make one bad dish, you've lost your customer. They will not come back again.
Yeah.
and you don't want to do that. You don't want to make that one dish because you think it'll bring in somebody,
Mm.
and then you lose your customer because of that, you know. So you have to be very careful. It's a very sensitive business, you know, and you'll see that majority of the restaurants, after they've run for 3 4 years, the quality starts going down,
Yes,
you
yes.
know, and the
If
quality
if they
simply starts
manage to
going down.
survive, if they manage to survive for 3 4 years,
Yeah, exactly. But the quality goes down simply because people just get exhausted, you
yeah.
know. You get exhausted, you make so much stuff, so you know the burnout comes in, you know, and you have to constantly remind yourself that, you know, step back, step back and do what you do, you know, keep the passion, you know,
Mm,
and once you keep the passion and keep the quality, it's always, it'll always be good for you,
mm,
you know. So advice for people who have restaurants, you know, if you see that something, you know, there's 10,000 things on your menu, cut down the menu, cut down the things that
mhm.
you don't like to eat. If you don't like to eat it and your kids don't like to eat it, it's not good. Cut it out, you know, because if you're in the restaurant with a passion and you are a good chef, you know which ones are good and which ones are not. And if
Mhm.
you know which ones are not good, your customers also know it's not good. You
Yeah.
know, don't have it on the menu. Do not have it on the menu. Have simple things and people will come. I mean, um, in Miami near my university, there
Mm.
used to be this like a little bodega kind of a place with these dinner ladies with their things and sloop, 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 and
Yes,
they're just giving food like that.
yes.
And every day there was something different, but it was fantastic food, you know. It was fantastic food, and we used to wait out. There was a huge line of people waiting to eat that. They didn't care, you know, that it wasn't a fancy place or a pretty place, you know, or the ladies were just giving you food like that. But the food was fantastic, and people came,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know. So that would be my biggest advice: is, you know, don't go make 10,000 pizzas if you're making pizza. You know, make 3 4 pizzas, but very good quality pizza. You know.
Great.
So yeah.
Yeah. Great advice. And what advice will you give to clients like us coming to your restaurant?
Eat what's there on the menu. You know. But yeah, try different things. You know, don't just stick to one thing. You know, and some ask the server there. The server knows what she's doing. You know, so you go to a restaurant, always ask the server's advice. Which one do you think? They're excellent at their job, so they will normally look at you and listening to what you have to say. They will be able to give you the best advice on what kind of food you would like, you know. So ask the servers, always ask to see the chef. The chefs love to come out and say hello, you know, anywhere,
Okay.
any restaurant, the chefs love to come out and say hello, you
Oh,
know. So always ask for the chefs. I'm always in the back because I'm doing the cooking, but you know, call us, you know, call us and say, hey, you know, can I just say hi to the chef? If you like the food, leave a compliment. You know, that also gives them, because they work so hard. Being in the kitchen is not easy. You know, the pots weigh 10 kilos, you know, without food in them, you know. So cooking is very difficult. You're in front of the fire. You know, we don't have any hair. This is
yes.
not because I have an excellent waxing person. It's because of the fire that just burns everything off, you know.
But you're fortunate. You don't have to wax it. It's done.
Exactly. So, you know, but just say hello to them. They love it. You know, it gives them a boost of energy, you know. So, um, call them and say, hey, can I talk to the chef? Or can I say hi to the chef? If you like the food, appreciate it. And if you don't like the food, also leave a comment behind for that, you know. Instead of going on TripAdvisor and saying, oh, your food is really awful, had a, you know, call them up and say that, you know, hey, you know, here's a little advice. If you just put a little bit of this, it'd be better. Or, you know, the quantity is not enough. Can you give a little bit more? You know, advice is always good for us because we take this advice. I hope we do. You know,
Mm.
at least I do. I take this advice and I think about it and I try to make a difference on that, you know, or if you have a restaurant which is more like this, you go there and you say, hey, today the lentils were not that great, guess what we will do? We will try to please you, and we will try to take the lentils away and give you something else. That is because we are here to serve you. We are here to make you happier.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
my advice goes for people who are working at the restaurant. Take the criticism. Criticism is always good. Take the criticism, and instead of fighting it, understand why somebody has taken the time to criticize. You know, understand it and try to make the difference. Criticism is very important. It's very important for us. We always ask when we do catering, we always ask, was everything all right? Did everything go okay? What can we do next time? Would you like us to do something different for you? Those are questions that are very important, you know, coming from the customer, because you're the ones who we are serving, and if you're not happy with the product,
Yes.
then what's the point?
Yeah.
So as a customer, we would expect that from you.
That's great. We're going to do just that. When I
Yes,
come there, maybe
exactly.
surprise you. I'm not telling I'm
Yeah,
coming in, and then I say, "Oh, I would like to see the chef."
exactly. Please do, and if I'm there, then I will come out. If I'm not there, I have the two head chefs. They come out and they're
Great,
very
great,
happy to meet their customers. So
great.
there goes my husband again.
Yeah, you're fortunate. He's giving you something to eat. Come on.
Yeah,
Thank
he
you,
got me
God.
oranges. Look at that. Say hi.
Thank
There's
you.
Lillian.
Yeah, you're
Welcome.
lucky. Come on.
Exactly.
People are fighting
Exactly.
with their spouse. You have your spouse bringing you orange, and you don't say thank you. Thank you, sir.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I cook him. I've been cooking him good food since I'm home now.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm very sorry to hear that your husband passed away. That is really, really sad to hear that, because you have young children
Yeah,
at home.
yeah, yeah. They were.
So,
My daughter was 6. My son was 4. But
oh my God. Yeah.
ill. So, but he did an amazing job. Some people they spend. He passed away on his 50th birthday, and people don't accomplish what he accomplished in that short
Yeah.
time. I'm privileged to have somebody like that in my life for years as a husband and the father of my children. I'm lucky. I'm lucky.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Great. Good to.
yeah.
Good to see that, but we always get challenges in our lives, huh? Every day is a challenge.
Yeah, we do, and they are not
Yeah.
there to. Oh, they are there to help us grow into something better if we choose to. As
Yeah.
I always say, yeah, as I always say,
Exactly. That is true. That is true. If you're willing to hear, huh?
yeah. And here, this
Yeah.
is a good situation. Corona is here. It's not something we wanted, but I
Yeah.
truly believe it's going to have a positive impact
I
in our
hope so.
personal lives and in
Yeah.
our businesses. So, in
Yeah.
your wildest dream, what one positive thing do you think this pandemic will bring to your business?
Oh, what positive thing? I hope people come back really hungry. you know, and they all come in at the same time. So that
Be
is in my
careful
wildest.
be careful for what you wish for because it might happen.
Yeah, I would love that. So people will go, oh, we missed your food for 2 months and we're going to make up for it right now. So that would be really fantastic for me. And then I would not have to worry about thinking about closing down or anything like that.
Oh, no,
So,
no.
that would be a very positive thing for me. So,
Yeah. So, I mean, when that's the hard words you've just used, the closing, that's not what we wish for you. And that's why we keep having this discussion. And I'm calling on all restaurant owners, irrespective of where you are, here in Switzerland, Europe, somewhere in Europe, Africa, let's come up here and talk about it, how we can make this, you know,
exactly.
make it
And
better.
Lillian, I'm always here if somebody needs advice. As you can see, I'm happy to give advice. I'm not holding back on anything. So if somebody from one of your listeners that wants something, send me an email and I'll gladly respond to you. I'll gladly try to help you out, whichever. I've gone through a lot of hurdles being here with the language and all of that. I will try to help out whichever way I can. I'm not here to my business and that's it. I want women to grow. I want women to become empowered. You know, so the girl who works in the front is a girl. The one of my chefs is a girl. So I try to hire as many women as I can. So if anybody needs help, I'm always here.
That's
I'm
very
always
good
here
to know.
to
That's
help.
to know because we will need you and we will do the same. In case of
Yeah.
events, and yeah, definitely the word will be spread for you. So thank you so much for that. But we cannot leave you without asking you, you know, this this one last difficult question. If you were to do it all over again, would you open a restaurant?
No. I
What?
would not actually. I would not do it alone.
Okay, you would do
You
it,
know,
but not alone, or you will not do it at all.
I would not do it alone. I think if I had somebody with me, then I would do it with somebody else. But I don't think that I would not do this alone.
When you
It's
mean
just
do it alone, you mean partners who could collaborate with you, or
yeah, exactly. Somebody else who's an equal partner. So somebody who might not necessarily be the cook, but somebody who'll take over the paperwork side of it, the advertising side of it. All the other things. For me right now, it's if my one of my chefs is on vacation, I have to be there. If the front person is on vacation, I have to be there. If somebody falls sick, I have to be there. And guess what? Then I'm always there because you're giving 5 weeks of vacation to somebody, and I am there around the clock. And
this not come with the fact that it's still a small business?
it's a small business, and I think that if I had somebody
Really, a
who
small business. I said still because I'm wishing
yeah
for you bigger.
Yeah, but if I have to hire somebody, if I have to pay somebody to do that work,
Yes,
I have
yes.
to pay them a lot more because now they're calculating hours. Versus if I had a partner, he or she would have to work around the clock like me, regardless to keep the business alive. It's two different things. Owning the business versus just working for the business are two very different things.
Mm.
And somebody who works will be dedicated. My guys are very dedicated to their work and they'll do the extra hours needed, but it's still for them, it's a job for them you
Mm.
know
Yes,
but we have
okay, I see your point.
yeah,
Yes.
somebody's not going to, I have to sometimes stay back at night, in front of the computer trying to write down new menus, or I have a catering, I need to prepare all of that, or go early in the morning and go and get the groceries done for that, for the special event or something like that. So it's, for me alone to manage everything, including stock, all of that stuff is it's very difficult. It is very, very difficult. You have to be extremely organized, you know.
Mhm.
It's not at all an easy thing. And then you have kids at home, you have to also run to the kids,
Yeah.
so you have you're being a mom doesn't stop, you
Yeah.
know. You don't because I own a business, I'm going to stop becoming a mom. It's not something that's possible. And I was a mom first. I was you know my
I,
kids know me as being a mom before I had the business.
yeah, you will always be a mom first. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not going to, I cannot stop those duties. But if I had somebody to say, okay, can you just handle this, I need to go and get this done, and they're not like, oh, this, I'm not past my clock now, I'm not going to do this because it's past my clock. I need somebody who's more of a business partner who has a stake in the restaurant.
But
So
now that you're saying it loud and clear, um, if there was a possibility, or have you looked around people who want to collaborate with you in this form?
it's not um it's not something that you can just collaborate with somebody. Again, it's a very personal thing, so it has to be somebody who shares your passion.
Yes,
you know
yes.
so right now I cannot just find somebody and somebody says, oh, I'm very passionate about this, and they come in, and then all of a sudden, you need them in the middle of the night and they will not be available. It's not like that. It has to be somebody who you're saying, okay, you're my best friend, and if I tell you to shut up, you're not going to mind that,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
if I go into a tantrum, you're going to be okay with my tantrum.
yeah.
You need that kind of a person to be there, because there are times when you're like, and the other person has to be able to tolerate that and take that from you, you know. So yeah, that would be my advice. And if you have a sister or somebody you absolutely love and you want to go into this, then go right ahead. That's why a lot of husband wife couples do it, and they're doing it successfully because one takes over and the other one takes over.
Mhm.
So even as couples, it might be a great thing, or maybe it might not, because then you're always together.
Yeah,
So
it's clutch. Yeah.
you know, yeah, exactly. How much do you love the guy?
And maybe you run out of love. You run out of love really fast. In
Exactly,
no time.
exactly. So it's yeah, but I think that would be my biggest thing, is that if I could have done this with somebody else, it would have made it a bit more easier.
Okay.
It's a lot of work, and not necessarily two people of the same interest. It's two people, but two people who are saying, okay, I will take over the kitchen, you take over the paperwork and the advertising and all of that. So you work in collaboration with
Mhm.
with the other person. But to have to do everything is
It's
is
a lot.
not a it's quite a lot. It's quite a lot. It's quite exhausting too.
Yeah. Your message is heard. Your message is heard. Doing anyway, we can only order, and if there's any request, if I get any request, because every live stream, I'm just going to put your, yeah, here, any
Yeah,
request, will let you know. And if there's anyone watching this live stream in the Vaud or Geneva area, please note that there is someone looking for collaboration. Note that there is an amazing restaurant that will open once Corona is over, and we've
yeah,
got
exactly.
there. And when you have birthday parties, please know you can order from her. If you have events and you,
Office catering. Also, we do big office catering, so we have all the catering equipment. So Ban Marie's and all of those things. So it's a big part of our business, the catering side.
so now you know where to go. So let's support the local businesses. Let's support the women that keep supporting other women. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for your time. It was a pleasure
Thank you
speaking.
so much, Lillian. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you, and I will see you very soon. Let's
Exactly.
look at this. Let's speak, and yeah, we'll see what we can do for you.
All
Let's
right. Fantastic. Thank you
see
so
you.
much. Thank you so much, Lillian.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
Yeah. Yeah. You too. Bye bye.
Bye. Yes, Awifian, that was a lovely conversation. As you can see, it's affecting even companies, businesses in Switzerland. You are not alone. If you need collaboration, let us know. If you need help with anything, let us know. There are women offering their services, offering to help, to advise. So please don't lose the chances that are being offered here. There is a lot. There is a lot that you could use. There's a lot that you could really use to pivot your business or just to change your life and become financially free. Do take care, and I will catch you in tomorrow's live stream. Bye bye.